Hi everybody, and welcome to day 11 of my 30-day Facebook Live Language Facilitation Challenge. And today I'm doing a remote video for you live because I wanted to share my favorite friends with you, and I'm gonna show you that in just a minute. Today's topic for our live is positive reinforcement is the foundation for language facilitation. And today I'm here talking to you about language facilitation for our 30-day live at the aquarium where I spend most of my time, my free time, called Mote Marine Aquarium. And this is where I hang out and volunteer on Friday afternoons and hang out with the wonderful animals here. So I see that Deirdre's here, and Brianna, thanks so much for joining me on my live today talking about positive reinforcement. My name is Marcy Meltzer, and I am an intuitive speech-language pathologist. And I help parents teach their late-talking children how to use the words they need to share their wisdom with the world. And I do that with my Waves of Communication Language Facilitation Parent Coaching Program. So today we're going to be talking about positive reinforcement here at the aquarium because I'm going to be talking, I learned about sort of how to put together positive reinforcement with language facilitation here at the aquarium by talking with the manatees. And what I'm going to do is today I'm going to do my little lecture with you while I'm letting you watch the manatees. So I'm going to walk over here to the manatee aquarium and show you. And what I'm going to do is, here they are in the tank with me, and because I've got kind of a glare going on, I'm actually just going to swap around the camera so that you can watch the manatees while I talk about positive reinforcement. So I'm going to do that right now. See how this goes? The camera's switching, and there we go. So there is manatee number one. That looks like it is Hugh, and over here, coming at me, is Buffett, and it's a little bit hard to see. There's Buffett, just took a big chunk of lettuce to eat, and here comes their roommate Harry, the green sea turtle. So, like I said, today on our live we're talking about positive reinforcement, and today I'm going to tell you 5 ways that manatees are like late talkers. I'm also going to tell you what positive reinforcement is, and we're going to talk about, I know it's kind of crazy this live looking at these manatees. I'm going to switch it around so you can look at me. The craziness of going live. I'll have them on in the background, and hopefully that you can see them when they're swimming around. And Megan just got here, and Alexandria says hello. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, on a 30-day Facebook Live challenge. All right, let's get down to and start talking about positive reinforcement. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about is 5 ways that manatees are like late talkers. Okay, and they're on the back of my card right here. My notes. The first thing is that manatees, like late talkers, are super smart. They are really good at using their resources to find the food that they need, and manatees actually drink fresh water, so they're able to find fresh water when they live in a saltwater environment, which is a really cool thing. Manatees are super smart, just like late talkers. The next way that manatees are like late talkers is they like easy rewards. Who doesn't? These manatees have been studied and researched and worked with, and they are they're very highly food motivated, and they love the easy reward. So that's what the scientists and the aquarists who care for the manatees here know about them, and late talkers are no different. They also really like easy rewards. The next thing that makes manatees the same as late talkers is that they are naturally curious. So late talkers are obviously always looking for the next new adventure, and manatees are no different. Here at the aquarium, they give the manatees some environmental enrichment devices, aka toys, that have food in them sometimes, and they have brushes on them sometimes that they rub up against, and those are the things that motivate these manatees. And just like your late talker, the different things that motivate them, they're going to be curious about when you bring them new things to explore. The other thing that makes manatees, the same as late talkers, is that manatees have no need for aggression whatsoever. It's one of the only animal species that has no predators and no prey. Manatees are vegetarians, so they only eat seagrass, and they have no other animals that are trying to hunt for them, and they don't hunt for any animals. So those are 5 little ways, just kind of a cute thing at the beginning of this video, why manatees are the same as late talkers, similarities. Okay, the next thing I'm talking about on my live today is what is positive reinforcement? So the manatees here and all the animals here at Mote are actually trained using positive reinforcement. And that is basically, the definition of positive reinforcement is that it involves the addition of reinforcing stimulus following a behavior that makes it more likely that that behavior will occur in the future. And so that's what positive reinforcement is. Whenever you're teaching somebody something, or an animal, or anyone, and you want them to do a behavior again, then you positively reinforce that behavior. And that's the fundamental way that they're using positive reinforcement to train with these manatees. And what's kind of cool about the way I'm going to explain next is how the 4 necessary components of positive reinforcement that are necessary for it to be effective. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the positive reinforcement that they use here with the manatees to the positive reinforcement that every language facilitator parent needs to have in their language facilitation program. So here they are. Next card. All right. The first component of a necessary component, oh boy, it just got noisy, for a positive reinforcement program is that it has to be rewarding. The effort or the task or whatever you're asking the child to do must be rewarding. It has to be worth the effort. So if your child doesn't really have interest or want to do the task that you're doing, then they're not going to perform it. So here at the aquarium, they have to make the training exercises that they do really fun and reinforcing for the manatees. And for the most part, they use food with the manatees. And I know for some things that we train late talkers, we use food. Things like potty training, a lot of parents like to use the goodies for potty training because those are really hard things. And what they do here with the positive reinforcement, with the training with the manatees, is that they always pair the reward with what they call a bridge. So in the manatees case, because manatees don't hear low frequencies, they use whistles. With the turtles, they use a clicker because turtles don't hear high frequencies. When you do language facilitation with your child, your bridge is your, hey, good job, I love your talking, is when you get excited about their effort. So that's the bridge. So what happens here is when the manatees want to, when they're being asked to do one of their care activities, like rolling over to look at their belly if they want to do an examination, the manatees swim up to their target and they get a click and a food because going to their target is their first job. And then when they roll over, they're given their cue to roll over, and when they roll over, first they hear a whistle, which is like the good job, you did it, and then they get their food reward. And what's important about when you do language facilitation is that you have a bridge too, because when your child wants something, like let's say they want a cookie, and you want them to try to say cookie, and you hold the cookie and you say cookie till I say cookie, and then you just have to wait. But if the child comes closer towards the cookie, or if they say something that's sort of like cookie, or if they give you a try, you can give them a bridge, like that was a really good try, or I really like your talking. And you don't necessarily give the cookie yet because they didn't say cookie, but you are giving them the motivation to want to try at it. So that's the first component of positive reinforcement that you have to have in place. I see a lot of likes about that. And thanks. I see Tammy's here. Thank you so much for joining me today on my live. If you're just joining me now, the replay for this is going to be available today after the live here on my Facebook. It's also going to be up on my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to see it there. And don't forget to potentially, refer it to your friends. Alexandria says here, what would be positive reinforcement besides a food reward? And kids' likes come and go. Well, that's a challenge that they have to do here with the Manatees too, because sometimes the food things that they want them to try are not necessarily the same every week to week. So sometimes you aren't necessarily going to know what's the motivator for your child, because it could change. And that's why you need a bridge. That's why you need to have something like a good job, or I'm glad you're talking. And the other thing that is really motivating, positively motivating, that is about language is that once you do learn to start to use words and you can use them to get what you want, that in itself is very motivating. So usually you don't need to have tangible things like food, except for at the very beginning. So I hope that helps. All right. So the second component, I know it's kind of loud, there's all kinds of pumps and stuff working around here, but I've got my microphone. I hope it's okay. People are giving me likes. I'm so glad that you're here joining me for my live here with the Manatees that are hiding out behind me here at the Aquarium. So I'm talking about positive reinforcement. So here's the second thing. The second component of your positive reinforcement language facilitation program you need to have in place. It has to be fun. Like everything else, if it isn't fun, it isn't fun. And here at the Aquarium, they have to make the training activities super fun for the Manatees. They give them toys and activities that they enjoy, things that cause them to do a little problem solving, because they like to do problem solving. And of course, they use the whistle as their bridge, but these guys also like rubs on their back, and because they've been in captivity their whole lives, they are used to people, and they like to come, and they like it when the people talk to them, even though they don't understand English. So there's a lot of things that you can use to positively reinforce your child, and language itself is positively reinforcing. So that's what's good. And when you make it fun, because you're doing language facilitation during the fun activities that you do, like visiting the aquarium, or going on a trip, or walking around your neighborhood, or playing with the toys that you love, or even eating, because those are things we love. And every time we do things we love, we can facilitate language, because it's fun. It's fun to do stuff we love. All right. The next component of your positive reinforcement system is that the tasks you give to your child, just like the tasks they give to the Manatees here, they must be easy to complete. And by easy means they should be able to do it without help 80% of the time. And if you have to give them help to get them up to 80%, then that's what you have to do. Because if your child doesn't have success at a task quickly, they're going to give up on it, and they're not going to ever get their reward, and then they're going to quit trying. So with the Manatees, before they're able to teach them a complex task like getting weighed or blood draws or things like that, they had to teach them easy things like swimming to a target and responding to the whistle that they give, and those kinds of tasks. And once the Manatees were good at that, then they could start introducing things like the apparatus to do vision testing that they've done with these guys, and hearing testing. And they've been able to train these Manatees to do so many wonderful necessary skills for their care, because they live here in human care, and it's not the same as living out in the world. And the activities that they ask them to do aren't even natural feeling for Manatees always, like swimming into a hammock that gets weighed by a crane, because this guy behind me that you see right here, he is 1,800 pounds. And in order to weigh him, the aquarists here have had to teach him to swim into a giant hammock and be weighed by a crane. And that didn't happen overnight. First, they had to teach him to come to the target. Then they had to teach him to enjoy the crane, to enjoy the hammock, to swim into it and tolerate it. So, and then they train step by step by step. And that's the other component, the next component that you have to have in your language facilitation program. It has to be easy to do, but it has to be progressive. So those are the 4 things when you teach language. You're going to teach your child to enjoy words and experiment with words and play with words, just like the Manatees did playing with the hammock and swimming around it and enjoying it a little bit before they ask them to be swimming into it to support their weight. And with language facilitation, it's the same thing. You're going to play with words and enjoy words and enjoy getting benefit from using them. And when you do that, then you're going to have that positive reinforcement and you're going to build on those skills. So first you learn single words, then you learn phrases, then you learn sounds, and it builds like that. And that's what's important about a language facilitation program, any program where you're going to be teaching a progressive skills. I see Roland's here, and I hear that Deidre's here. Thank you so much for stopping in and saying hi. And for those of you who are catching the replay, I'm really glad that you're here too. If you're on YouTube or on Facebook, hit the notifications or subscribe button so that you can catch all the videos in my 30-day live. This is day 11, which is a big day for me. 11 is an important number in my life these days. And today is episode 11. There are a bunch more episodes to come, so I hope you don't miss them on my Facebook page and my live. And if you want to contact me to talk about putting together a language facilitation plan for you, which incorporates all of these 4 aspects that make things easy, motivating, fun, and progressive, so that you can help your child move from where they are right now using nonverbal means to communicate into using words in a happy, safe, progressive, and positive way. And so that's my live today from here at Mote Aquarium with Manatees, Hugh and Buffett. I'm going to turn around and see if I can show you guys a little bit before I go. I'm going to turn the camera around just a little bit since you're live. And those of you who are living far away in other places, that's what a manatee looks like. And it looks like he's going to swim around and do a little fun stuff. So you can see the manatees there. And right here you can see Harry, the sea turtle. There's his back end, unfortunately. And up over there on the top is our other manatee. That's Buffett. Buffett is 1,800 pounds. Hugh, in the back doing bear rolls for you, is 1,100 pounds. Now, Hugh loves fun. And these guys, even though they are stepbrothers, they actually have very different personalities. Hugh in the back is the older manatee, and he's the smaller guy, and he likes to move around and swim and do barrel rolls. Buffett, who's the 1,800-pound manatee, who's over here hanging out waiting for his treat, loves to eat. So you can see how they're different in kids, even though they're brothers. And just like, I'm turning this back around. And just like, oh, it's not, there it goes. And just like kids who are siblings, they are all different. And when you learn what's motivating and fun for your child, just like what they've learned is fun and motivating for these manatees, you're going to be able to teach them to use words, to share their wisdom with the world, and be able to do it as a language facilitator parent. So, it's a little bit distracting for here. I'm going to get off this live for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and all your likes and shares and subscribe on YouTube. I really appreciate that, because this 30-day live is all about sharing language facilitation ideas and the idea that parents can be language facilitators. And I want as many people as possible to view these videos in my 30-day live. There's different topics every day, so go on the YouTube channel, find the ones that resonate with you, share them with your friends, and get going and teach your kids to use the words they need. If you want help and you want to know more about my program, send me a private message. And have a great day, you guys. Happy May. Happy enjoy your outdoors like me today, hanging out with the manatees. And I'll see you tomorrow for our next episode of Live.